So people keep asking me all the time, tweeting at me, messaging me, James, what are your overall thoughts on Origins? James, do you think Origins is going to be a good game? James, do you think there should have been more clone battles in the prequels? That one is Shaka Phillips. He asks that about 6 times every live stream, and I mean, personally, I don't think so. I mean, the prequels suffered from a lot of flaws, but I don't think the main one was, too few clone battles. I feel like too many more clone battles would have taken away from the whole point of the prequels, which was Anakin Skywalker's, story. And, I mean, we get enough clone battles in the Clone Wars TV shows, and it does it way better than the prequels ever could. Anyway, I thought, since we know so much now about Origins, why not make a video completely going over my thoughts on everything, from, the world to the combat, to the character, to everything, just going over all the little details and telling you what I think personally so far about the game. This video is being just recorded just after E3, so if you're watching this when the game is out, then disregard everything I say, because my opinion will likely change when I've played the game for myself, but this is my first impressions after seeing it at E3, seeing the gameplay, talking to people that have played the game, listening to people who have played the game, all that good stuff. I know a lot about the game at this point, so I feel like I can give a general judgment on the way I think it is going, and my opinions on that. So, without further ado, let's hop into the video. So first off, I just want to say, the name is pure shit, isn't it? Let's be honest. There's an Origins in every franchise out there, and we don't need any more. I'll live with it. It doesn't matter that much. I'm just saying, if I had to pick between Origins and Empire, it'd be Empire, wouldn't it? Better name, but that's that. I want to start this video by saying congratulations to the Black Flag team that worked on this. I guess now you would call them the Origins team, but they're always going to be the Black Flag team to me. Ashraf Ismail as game director is just absolutely phenomenal. You can tell his passion and his dedication to this game is just like no other. It's absolutely fantastic to see that passion and love for something that he's creating, and it really, really, really makes me happy to see him when he's talking in interviews, when he's talking about the game, when he's demoing the game. He knows it's something good. He's super proud of the team that's worked on it, and I have to say, it makes me proud as an Assassin's Creed fan to see the awards they've been getting from people at E3, from the praise they've been getting from the fans, and the fact that I can genuinely say this game looks like it may be the best Assassin's Creed game ever made. And I'm not saying that puts down the Ezio trilogy, because the Ezio trilogy will always be my favorite. But in terms of what the best game is, I mean, I have to admit the best game so far has been Black Flag. As much as it's not my favorite game, it's the best game. And I think the Origins will beat Black Flag and be the best game. It won't be my favorite game because there's too much nostalgia around Ezio at this point to be my favorite game, but it will definitely be the best game from the looks of things so far. And I want to say thank you so much to Ashraf and the rest of the team working on the game, because it's phenomenal the work that you're putting in, and you can see it's really paying off, and I'm super excited to see the game when it launches. So I've talked about this before on live streams, is the idea of I had expectations for the game, and then I had my dream of the game, my ideals of a game set in ancient Egypt. And I was expecting my expectations to take the lead when the game was announced, and it would, because I set my expectations low based upon Unity, Syndicate, Rogue, recent games. I set my expectations relatively low, thinking, this game is not going to be anything special. Don't get your hopes up, James. Don't get hyped. Don't hold your breath. When you can think all these things, you want all these various features, but when the game comes out and the game is announced, it's not going to be anything like what you want it to be. But fucking Christ, was I wrong. I was right to be skeptical based upon Ubisoft's track record the past 4 years or so, but Jesus Christ, I wasn't expecting it, but they literally matched my ideals for the game. When I was speculating about the game, talking about the game, and you can go back and watch all my speculation videos on Empire, this game has matched, if not beaten, what I was speculating, and that's something that just doesn't happen. And I want to say that it's the magic of the Black Flag team, because the only time I've ever had an experience like this before where someone has matched my speculation and theories and ideas is with Black Flag, because when I was playing AC3, I said, wouldn't it be fucking cool to have a game where it was based around this naval combat where you could sail around, get off your ship, explore places, and I was like, it won't happen because that's an insane game to make, but it would be amazing. And then they did it, and I'm like, fucking hell, Ubisoft, fantastic. Black Flag just blew me away, and now they've done it again. The same team that worked on Black Flag that, you know, made what I wanted to happen come true, they've done it again with Origins, making all of my speculation videos a reality with this game. And I don't know whether they watch my videos and that's how they know, but they did it, and it's absolutely crazy, and I'm so pleased to see, you know, what this game is shaping up to be. Now, the world to me looks absolutely fantastic. It's huge. We've seen a zoom out of the map. It looks fucking massive with all these various areas. You've got the Nile, you've got the Alexandria, you've got the pyramids, etc., etc. Looks absolutely gorgeous and massive, and that brings me on to the quests. It looks like there are a ton of quests in just that small area by the lake that we saw. There were probably 12 to 15 quests just in that small area. Now imagine how many side quests there are dotted all over the world. There's got to be at least, like, at the very least, there's got to be at least 50 or 60, but I would assume tons more. Like, I'm thinking 100. Like, maybe more. Like, there's got to be so many. This is, like, to put this into perspective, Horizon Zero Dawn had 21 side quests, and there were over half that just in the small area we saw in the Origins demo. And that's insane. That's fucking crazy. And they're all gonna be these little stories, these little side stories. Like the dude said, an anecdote factory is what they're doing with this game. And as much as it's got its main story, it's also got this world that has life in it with all these characters and people you can meet and NPCs full of loads and loads of side quests and activities for you to perform. And side quests aren't the only things in the game. You've got these side activities such as the camps you can do and other things that I'm sure we'll be introduced to as we get further down the line with the game. But it's absolutely crazy to see all of these quests. Exploration is another huge thing in the world. They've said there's over 20 tombs in the world for you to go in and explore and find loot. They may contain puzzles, they might not, but it's absolutely fantastic to see tombs returning. And they've also said underwater ruins, underwater shipwrecks, etc. Just tons of things to explore and find things in. It's going to be absolutely amazing to explore that world when the game launches. Plus, not to mention the multiple environments that's going to change the gameplay up, change the way the world looks, and just give this fresh life to the world as you move throughout it. Now, you can clearly see they've taken what worked in Black Flag and they've gone, how can we apply Black Flag's gameplay and open world to Origins? And they've done a fantastic job, like I said, with the exploration, with the quests, with the world, with the map, with the way it looks, with the way it plays. Just absolutely fantastic. They've just taken the gameplay from Black Flag and they've just cranked it up by like 10 notches. It's insane, and I'm so proud. Now, you can clearly see they've taken inspiration from games like Horizon Zero Dawn and The Witcher 3. The way that the game is structured in terms of side quests, open world, things like that, RPG systems, that new style of RPG system The Witcher 3 kind of introduced is the way that this game is going. And that's fantastic, because I love that style of game. Just, I absolutely love it, and I just hope more games go down that route of, you know, Witcher style RPG, because it's absolutely fantastic. So on to combat. A lot of people said they don't like the combat. Personally, I think it looks fantastic. It looks incredibly heavy when using weapons and hitting people. It looks fantastic. The animations look cool, and the sound it makes when you make contact with a weapon or when you hit someone sounds fucking brutal, and as well for those finishing kills look fucking great. Now, the thing with this is people say it looks very clunky, and I can understand why you're saying that, but it's very similar to something like The Witcher 3. It's a hitbox-based system, whereas the other Assassin's Creed games, like Ashraf has said before, is a paired animation system. So when you hit the attack button, it will perform an animation on the enemy which will do damage. Whereas with a hitbox system, you can just swing and your weapon has to make contact with the enemy to do damage. And that is a much better system in terms of gameplay, in terms of challenge, in terms of skill, and things like that. It makes it a lot better to play, because you're not just doing an animation to kill an enemy that takes absolutely no skill because it's automatic. You have to make sure you're avoiding their attack, just make sure you're the right distance, that you're timing your attack right, and everything has to be right. You can't just blindly, like, attack. You have to make sure you're doing it correctly, and that is fantastic. That is something that I've wanted in Assassin's Creed for ages, and that's something that I think Unity was doing incredibly well, but they didn't quite hit the mark, and I think they've done it with Origins, and I'm incredibly pleased. Another thing is there's varied weapons. We've got 4 types of ranged weapons and 8 types of melee weapons. That's insane. That's so many weapons, and I don't know, and we have no idea how many weapons are going to be in each category. We're going to have hundreds of weapons, I'm sure of it at this point. We've seen so many so far, and it looks like the game is just full to the brim with different weapons, which is fantastic. Another thing is the different combos with different weapons, which I think is awesome. That's such a cool feature, the fact that we're going to have all these various combos and animations with different weapons that we're going to have to master and going to have to use, and it's just fucking great. It's going to be so much fun. Now, onto the skills. I think the skill system has been done perfectly. Unity was not great. Syndicate was also not great. This game, however, they've opted for a skill tree that is shaped like a graph, and it looks a lot like the London Underground. But they've got all these interconnecting tubes that go to different skills and interconnect with each other in these 3 basic skills, and it looks really, really good. You can specialize in whichever section you want, or you can make a balance, or you can go through all of them if you want to, and it's just looking really, really fun to be able to level up, which will mean that you can take on harder enemies, which is just a great system. It improves the difficulty and the challenge of the game, the reasoning to play these other side quests. You can level up to do these harder enemies and harder quests, which is fantastic. And XP looks like it's going to be fun to gain. You don't just have to kill enemies to, get XP. You can also get XP from synchronizing and things like that, which is really, really cool. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the story. We don't know too much about the story, but we do know it's the origin of the Brotherhood. Now, a lot of people have questions about how Bayek could have formed the Brotherhood when there were assassins before him. I do have a video about this coming out probably next week, I think, because I normally take the weekend off to stream on Horsey and Fox Saturdays, then podcasts on Sunday. But I will have a video coming out about this very soon, an Assassin's Creed Explained type video where I go over the reasonings for how Bayek could have founded the Order even when he technically wasn't the first assassin. And that's coming from lore, my own theories, but also the creative director himself. So that should be an interesting video, so we'll go over that sometime soon. Now, as for Bayek himself, he sounds great. Like, I've really enjoyed seeing him. He's a very stoic character. But he also has a personality. You can see he cares for children. When he interacts with the children in the demo, you can see he definitely cares for them. He has an urgency about him, and he's very well spoken, and he's very confident in his own ability and confident in himself and his ideals. Whereas people liken him to Connor, but then Connor was not a confident person. He was incredibly naive. He relied on everyone else telling him how things work because he did not understand the world that he lived in. Whereas Bayek completely understands the world he lives in, but he has to adapt to it to change. And we're going to see him adapt. We're going to see him grow wiser as he forms the Order, as he finds out more about the First Civ and the Pieces of Eden. He's going to become this wise assassin, and it's going to be fucking fantastic. And I could just see him becoming this great character that's somewhat like Altair, but maybe a bit more developed than that, which is going to be really, really good. Now, that's it for this video. That's everything I thought I needed to go over. Let me know if I missed anything out. Let me know your guys' thoughts on things about Origins in the comment section below. Stay subscribed to stay up to date on everything Assassin's Creed Origins. Of course, I'll be covering everything. I'm super fucking excited for this game. It is going to be fantastic, and I know pretty much everyone else out there is super excited for this as well. So I'm so happy. The community is just coming together again. It feels like the Unity days. It feels like 2014 when we were getting hyped for Unity and everyone was coming together and being excited for the game, and it's really, really cool to see that. And the community is one of the best parts of, making videos and stuff like that, so it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys for all the support. We're nearly at 40,000 subscribers. That's insane. Jesus Christ. Thank you guys so much. And that's it. That is it, and I will be seeing you all next time.